Hello everybody and welcome to This Old Knit episode 11. I'm your host Nina, also known as Ine on Ravelry and Pinterest. I'm trying to sneak in an episode. It's Tuesday and I don't typically record during the week, but I wanted to get something out because we'll be gone some of this weekend, just doing some camping and stuff, and I'm having somebody come over, a friend of mine, to watch our dogs, so that will be nice. We had to kennel them last time and Plonk didn't do very well with the kenneling. He actually had a lot of like breathing problems and stuff when we got him back. So I just think it was really stressful on him, and he's getting older. His heart condition is getting worse, so I don't want to put him through all that stress and everything. So it's really nice that my friend was able to come over and watch them and stay at the house so they don't have to change their routine, and you know, they can be together in their normal environment. So anyway, I need to do some kind of straightening and cleaning and stuff to make sure that everything is ready for her. The house is just a bit cluttered right now, so I want to make sure that it's at least at a manageable level for not someone who has two crazy children. So anyway, I have been working on some stuff, but I also have some kind of knitting disappointments, if you will. So I will dive into that. No. Actually, first, I wanted to say thank you to Molly from A Homespun House for mentioning my podcast. I had a lot of people sign up on YouTube, and I had people join the group, and she just said really nice things about my podcast and about me. So thank you, Molly. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out her podcast, it is called A Homespun House, and you can find it on YouTube, and you also could find it on iTunes and on her website, which is now ahomespunhouse.com. So, and congratulations, because Molly just had her baby. Yay! And she's adorable. And she has a picture of her with her daughter on her Instagram feed, and she looks like she's going to be a great big sister. And I'm just very happy that it seems like everything went well with the birth and all that. So congratulations, Molly and family, and enjoy your time with your baby. So on to the knitting. My stuff is a little bit disorganized this week. So first thing I've been working probably the most on is my adult spring garden tee, because I really want to get it finished because the weather's starting to get really nice, and it's something that I could wear at work, or I also could wear it in a more casual setting, so on the weekend with like jeans or shorts or skirts. So I am, let me see which side's the back. It's really hard to tell, actually. I think last time that I showed it, I was where this marker is, and this marker is the end of the waist increases at the bottom. So now I'm just knitting straight until it's long enough. So I've gotten about 4 or 5 inches done since last time I showed it, but here it is. So I'm not sure if you can see down to my waist or not, but I feel like I maybe just need maybe 3 more inches, and then I'll bind off on the bottom, and then I'll come back up and do the sleeves. And then I think the neckline, you actually have to do a little bit of finishing on that, like 1 or 2 rows, just to not have it be this kind of rolly cast on edge. But there's not a lot left to do, so I'm really excited about that. I'm almost done with this ball. I finished a ball of yarn that I had on it last time I showed it to you, and I added another one, and I'm most of the way through it. So I think I have 2 more balls of this yarn, so it should be plenty for me to finish it, and I'll probably have maybe 1 left over, I don't know. And I mentioned last time that originally I had made a matching shirt for Megwin, which doesn't fit her anymore, sadly, but I made it in a really pretty purple, so I thought I'd bring that to show. So here it is. I think this is in the 2T size, and I have some pictures on my Flickr and on my project page. I think this one I called it like Sample Spring Garden Tee, because I actually knit it. The local yarn store that is in my area was looking for samples for Rowan Panama, and they wanted something that could be done with 1 or 2 balls of it, so I made this with 2 balls of Rowan Panama with just a tiny bit left over. So yeah, it was a really nice knit. I love the yarn. It's super drapey and comfortable. It's a great summer shirt, and it's nice for layering as well. So Megwin wore it into the fall with like a cardigan over it. So you can see kind of the lacy detail on the sleeves. That's the same lace that will be on mine. The only difference between the two sweaters is that the kids version doesn't have any shaping. So the adult version has some shaping, and it's got more of a scoop neck. This one's a little bit higher neck. But I will definitely be making her one once I finish mine, and then I'll have a better idea of what size that she will be in at that point. I have like a light blue for hers this time, and the same yarn, the Rowan Panama. So yeah, that's that. And sorry, it's the Adult Spring Garden Tee by Alana Dacos. And it's a really well written pattern, so I highly recommend it. The next thing that I was working on, but I am not currently, were my Hermione's Everyday Socks in the Vesper sock yarn. So here's what I got done, and then I tried them on. And the problem is that my cast on is too tight. So usually I knit my socks on 2.75 millimeter needles. That gives me between 8 stitches per inch and 9 stitches per inch, depending on the sock yarn. But the Vesper is a fairly light fingering weight yarn, so I went down to a size 1 to get a fabric that I liked, and I do like the fabric that it was producing a lot. These fit very nicely on my leg portion, and even the ribbing fits fine. It's just that cast on that is super tight. So for right now, I just kind of pulled the needles out because I don't have a lot of sock needles, and it's actually staying pretty well, so I should be able to pick up the stitches if I decide that I'm going to. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to frog the whole thing and start it over, or if I want to do something with the cast on, like cut it and potentially pick up the stitches and do like a bind off of some sort that might be more stretchy, like Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off or something like that. I don't know. I feel like kind of cutting the knitting at this point is kind of silly. I don't have that much knit, and honestly it didn't take me a super long time to knit it, so I'm leaning towards frogging them and re-knitting them. I do like the pattern, I do like the yarn, I like them together. I think what I'm going to do is what I did with my other pair that I have on the needles right now, and that is that I did the cast on and the ribbing in my normal needle, and then I went down to the one for the actual like leg portion. So I will show you those next. So I had the cuff of these, and these were also Hermione's Everyday Socks, knit with the 2.75 in No Maker's Little Bunny Fufu, and I really liked it, but I felt like when I got into the patterned portion that it was a little bit loose with the normal 2.75 millimeter needles. So I had put this part on hold and I hadn't frogged it yet. I just kind of had it on my desk. So I thought, based on my Vesper sock yarn socks, that maybe I should just take the cuff and then pick up the stitches and knit with a size 1. So that's what I did, and these are fitting really well. So I have maybe a few more inches, and then I'll start the heel on these. And this did not take me very long. This maybe took me like 2 days worth of my knitting, which is really only about an hour that I get to knit each night. So this is maybe like 2 hours worth of work, so that's not that bad. And compared to this one, it's actually longer. So I don't know. I think I'm going to frog them and reknit. But I definitely like that yarn, and I do want to remake them. But now I want to finish these, because I actually wanted to originally knit with this yarn, which I've tried to show this before on the podcast and it did not come out very well. So I'm hoping that this is actually coming out better this time with the colors. It looks so dark in here. But when I was looking at my test videos, which I took a couple, the lighting was actually good in here, even with how dark it is to me. So hopefully you all can see stuff and I won't completely have to re-record this podcast, because I don't have time to re-record it. Those were kind of the main things I worked on this week. I don't think I did anything on my blanket at all. I did cast on for the Morpheus sweater that I said I was going to do with this green yarn, the Knit Picks Cotton in the key lime for my new nephew, but I didn't get very far. So I'm using size 7 needles, my Addi Clicks, and they are both US 7s. I made sure I got matching tips this time. And I basically just cast this on this morning. So it's a free pattern. You can download it on Ravelry. It's called Morpheus. And you knit back and forth on the neck. So you do ribbing and knit back and forth. So that's about how big the neck opening will be. And she suggested that if you were using a not stretchy yarn, which I'm not, it's cotton linen blend, so it definitely is not a stretchy yarn at all, to go up a size. And I wanted to make roughly a 6-month size so that it could fit the baby for longer, because I'm probably not going to get it done until he's about 3 months old. So I'm actually making the 12-month size. And then if it doesn't fit him right now, that's okay. I'd rather it be too big than too small. And he can wear it in the fall over like a long-sleeved onesie or something. So that's that guy. But at least I got it started. I feel like for me that's the hardest part to get over the hump, is to just start the project. And then I feel like it goes better from there. It is starting to get really dark, so I will show you one more thing and then I'm going to stop the video and go turn on the light in here just so that it doesn't get really dark on me, because the sun is setting right now. So the last thing I wanted to show is the Zilver shawl that I said I was going to cast on. So there's a picture of the Zilver. It's just a basic triangular shawl with some kind of really simple lace areas for interest. There's a better picture in the middle here. I will pull that out. There it is. So I'm just in love with triangular shawls. I think they're so fun, and I like how they can really change a basic outfit just by throwing them on. Like, you can make a t-shirt look a little bit dressy, and they look really nice kind of over a plain dress as well. So I only have 2 shawls right now, but I would like to have more. So that's kind of my theme, if you will, for this year, is that I want to knit more shawls. So I am going to knit this for Michelle, who is actually knitting. She has the Actually Knitting podcast. It's an audio podcast, but it's really fun. I love it a lot. It's one of those that I listen to sometimes at work while I'm doing stuff, because I can just have my earbuds in and listen. And I can't really watch video podcasts at work, obviously, but it's nice to have something going on when I'm doing spreadsheets or something like that, or something where I'm just copying and pasting a lot. That's more kind of just going through the motions and not a lot of thought going into it. So she is doing what's called a Pal Cal, so it's a podcast along, knit along. So you pick either a pattern, yarn, or I think she's doing also bags this time from a podcaster. And the bags, you can only use them on one project. You can't just keep reusing the same bag with different projects. But you do one of those things, and that counts for an entry in her cal. So I am doing yarn from Volan Vine, who is Kristen, and she has the Yarngasm podcast. So this is a one-of-a-kind colorway that she made called Space Wizard. And I've shown it before on the podcast, but it looked ridiculously neon blue, and it is not neon blue at all. It's a very pretty purple with pinks and silver stellina. So it is very nice, and I'm excited to make that into the silver. And I think it'll look really pretty with, like, I have a kind of black, grayish black, kind of marled dress, and I think it'll look really nice with that. So that's kind of my thought process of what I would wear it with. And also with white, obviously, it would look very nice as well. So I am going to go turn on the light, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I turned on the light, and I actually switched my lighting setting on the camera, so now it is on tungsten. So it might wash stuff out a little bit more now, but I don't have very much natural light left. So this is what I keep my drop spindle in. These are actually really nice, and you can find them at craft stores, or they're like for wine bottles. So it's kind of a nice thing to carry it in. Called a wine tube. I'm taking the tag off of it, even though I've had it for quite a while. It's kind of ridiculous. It's mine at this point. That was on some episode of the show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. They were going into someone's house, and they looked at like their pots for their potted plants, and they actually still had the price tags on the pots. And one of the guys was like, "I think it's yours at this point." It struck me as funny. So I'm being like that dude now. So I did do a little bit of spinning after we talked last time. Not a ton, but I was spinning my Rologs, the purple ones that I showed. So they're actually spinning up quite thin, or quite fine. And they were spinning very nicely, drafting really nicely. So I didn't get a lot done, but you can see some on my drop spindle there. So maybe I'll get to do more of that this weekend when we go camping. Spinning is actually quite a nice thing to do by the campfire, because I don't need to see to do it. Either that, or I do like a pure knit sock, or my garter stitch blanket. Those are kind of the things that I try to do for campfire knitting. Michelle, again from Actually Knitting, was asking about that. She said she was going on a camping trip, and she was asking for suggestions on what kind of knitting to do. Now, she was more concerned with things smelling like smoke. I don't really care about that, because often stuff smells like campfire in our house because we have quite a large backyard, so we spend a lot of time having bonfires back there. Especially my husband, having grown up in California, they're always really careful about fire and controlling it. So just having like a fire in your backyard. That's not something that they would have had when he was growing up. It was very much like you did it in a little brazier, like a fire pit brazier, and you always had to be very careful about sparks and ash flying around, because they have a lot of wildfires, and often they are started by people throwing cigarettes out of their cars or campfires that were not properly maintained or watched. So he's very much enjoying the Ohio climate, which is very wet. We get a lot of rain. We have huge reservoirs of water, and things are almost always moist. So generally we do not have to worry about wildfires. There's been maybe 1 or 2 droughts in my lifetime that I've known of. One was when I was a child, and I do remember that it got to the point where we weren't allowed to kind of water plants and stuff. They were keeping all of the water for agriculture for the farmers. And then the other one was fairly recently, maybe a couple of years ago, when basically the whole United States was in some form of drought. But that has passed, and we are doing fine. We've got plenty of rain. Long story short, lots of stuff smells like campfire in my house. I digress on one of my tangents as usual. So that is my spinning. And I did a little bit of cross stitch on my Once Upon a Time. There's Megan's Band-Aid package stuck to it. I worked just a little bit on the Bremen Town Square, so that's this one here. I did a little bit of the donkey, and I finished the path. This is a little bit harder for me to work on just because I have to get the hoop on, I've got to get my supplies out, got to get my chart out. I can't have Joshua kind of up and down on my lap because he wants to grab stuff, and there's needles involved and little scissors and all of that kind of stuff. So he did take kind of a longer nap, I think, and so I did a little bit of cross stitch. Or I might have done this in the morning. I can't remember when I did it, but I just felt inspired to work on it a little bit, so I did. So that's that. It's coming along. It's gonna get there. And then for new stuff that I have got this week, I actually got this a couple weeks ago, but I did not show it on the podcast. My fabric came for my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Fibery Friends sampler, which I've shown the picture of before, so it's this one. And here's kind of a better overall view of it. It has the alphabet, which I don't think I will actually do the alphabet. I think I will make some kind of saying on it. Maybe like, let's get crafting or something like that, to eventually hang in my craft room. I probably will be losing my craft room, which is sort of the playroom slash craft room. Okay, and this operator error, didn't check my battery, so my battery died. I charged it just a little bit. I spun like 1 roll log worth of spinning, but I want to finish up because I have not eaten dinner yet, and it's getting dark and late, and I want to eat dinner before I have to go to sleep. So anyway, the fabric for the Fibery Friends. Here it is. It's beautiful hand-dyed fabric. It is pink. It is sparkly. And it is amazing. I'm very excited about it. And it's from the Cottage Needle. They made a little kit for me, and they actually made a custom listing for the fabric because they were out of it. So this is 28 count linen. And Kristen's actually doing the Tea Time sampler on 40 count linen. You're crazy, Kristen. That is like so tiny. 36 is the smallest that I've ever stitched on, and I'm doing my Storytime sampler on that, and it's actually really small. It kind of, I don't know, it starts to hurt my eyes, and I work it with 2 strands. 28 I work with 3 strands of floss, and that seems to fill it in very nicely. So there's the color palette of threads, and these are actually some sort of special DMC colors. They're called French Moulin. I don't know what that means, but I guess they're a new set of colors that they released. So anyway, that's that kit. I will hopefully be stitching it up soon. I'm trying to either finish my Once Upon a Time or my Halloween Town picture first. I'll probably get Halloween Town done because I'm almost done with it, and then I'm going to make that into a bag. And then kind of just more in general, this last weekend we went and celebrated Joshua's birthday. He turned 1 at the beginning of May, and then we also celebrated Mother's Day the same weekend, so I got to see my mom. I got her a Circa counter and the bento box that it comes in for Mother's Day. I saw the bento box from Danny, who has the Little Bobbins Knits podcast. She had one for her Circa counter, and I thought they looked so nice, so I made sure I got the box for my mom as well. And it actually came with little felt cutouts to protect the face of the Circa counter, so it basically is like a non-digital way to keep track of multiple different things at the same time. So like when knitting patterns say, at the same time, do increases while working these 2 different charts. So it can keep track of 3 different things at once, and you just move the hands on the face of it. It looks like a big stopwatch, and there's 3 different clock hands, for lack of a better word, and you actually set on the side how many repeats that you need to do, and then you advance the little clock hands each time that you do it so that it can tell you when you're done with each one. So I need to get one for myself now that I've seen them. I really want one. But oh well. And the last thing that I got this week is we were almost out of hand soap from Tuft Woolens, and I just use her hand soap now. So I got 2 bars of her chocolate almond, and it's really pretty. I think it looks so neat. It's very swirly, and it's got kind of a rough cut top. And this one's actually smoothed a little bit because I got 2 so that I would have a spare. That's what I usually do, just to make sure that if she hasn't stocked her shop, we still have an extra one. And then whenever I get into that second bar, I start looking at the shop to see when she's gonna stock again. So I'd intended to keep that as a spare, and then Megan wanted to open the package, and she was so excited about it that she said, "Mommy, can I have that for my bathroom upstairs?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, absolutely." And she was so happy. She said, "I never thought it would be possible that I could have my very own soap. I'm gonna go try it right now." And she ran upstairs and like started washing her hands. The best you could hope for with a 5-year-old, right? So, so I was very happy that I had the spare one to give her, but now I need to buy more. And I got into my second sock soap today. I was washing some of my sweaters to get ready to put them away for the summer. So I now need to stock her shop for sock soaps. But she had a new sample in there with the charcoal lime scent, and it smells so nice and fresh. I'm really excited about that one, so I definitely want to get a full-size bar of that. But I highly recommend the chocolate almond from Martha on the Tuft Woolens shop on Etsy. So if you just search Etsy for Tuft Woolens, you will find her shop, and she has wonderful things. So that is kind of it for this week. Not really contemplating starting anything new. I think I'm going to finish the socks first and that I didn't mention is for the Yarnder Woman Pop Culture Cowl. So anything that has a pop culture reference, and the Hermione's Everyday Socks are obviously a Harry Potter reference. So once I finish those, I'll probably cast on the silver for the Pal Cowl, and then I need to intersperse that with the sweater for my nephew. And my boss is actually expecting his first child in July, so at some point I need to cast on for probably a hat and socks. Mid-summer babies are a little bit harder to knit for if you want something right away. You more need to knit for like when it gets into the fall for them, because it gets very hot here in the summer and super humid. So when Joshua was born, since he was born the beginning of May, I actually just knit several pairs of socks for him, and I'm more focused on doing stuff in the fall for him. So that is that. I hope you all have a great week, a great weekend coming up, because I probably will not record a podcast until maybe on Monday. I'm trying to also take Monday off, so if I am able to do that, I will record something on Monday. Otherwise, I will see you maybe next Tuesday. We'll see how it works out. As always, please feel free to come and comment in the thread. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I drew for the 100 member giveaway, and the winner of that was Coddington, who is Autumn. So Autumn, please send me a PM on Ravelry with the $10 or less pattern that you would like to receive, and I will gift it to you. And we're actually at 170 subscribers, so I will do something again when we hit 200 subscribers on YouTube, or if we get to 200 members in the group. But it seems like I have more subscribers on YouTube than I do members of Ravelry, so I think some people are watching me that are not part of Ravelry, or they haven't found our group yet. So hopefully you will find your way. If you just do a search on This Old Knit in the groups on Ravelry, you will find us. Please come and join. And when we get maybe some more members, I'll think about doing a cowl. I just don't think we have enough people at this point. So I'm just going to direct you to other cowls that I think are interesting going on in other podcasts. But when we do have one, like I said, I think I'll probably do a Knit My Queue, and maybe we can all be inspired by what we create. So again, winding it up now for real, I promise, this time for real. So as I said, I am Nina, also known as Ine on Ravelry and Pinterest. I would love for you to come and friend me, send me a PM, come and comment in the group, and have a great week, everybody, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.